Goal attainment scaling is a method for measuring individual and program goal achievement. It involves the use of interviews during goal setting and reevaluation to determine progress. In the academic setting, it can be used with students to measure individual learning goals over the course of a semester or throughout the curriculum. Unlike typical goal setting, in which an individual sets a goal that is either met or unmet, goal attainment scaling allows the individual to envision a full range of possible outcomes, from much less than expected to much more than expected. The goal attainment scale provides a structured framework for identifying these specific goal behaviors using a 5-point scale of +2 to -2. The first step is identifying the goals. Typically, individuals will select between 2 and 5 goals. Goal sheets can be modified to add additional columns for each goal.
Isabella, thank you for bringing your goal attainment scaling template with you today. Since goal attainment scaling is a mouthful, we're going to call it the GAS template, okay? It's important that we take some time at the beginning of the semester to have you think about choosing a goal that you'd like to work on over the course of the semester. And I know you've been thinking about this. What did you decide on?
Well, I think I need to develop my confidence. I'm really nervous about working with people who have dysarthria.
Okay, and I understand that you feel like you need to work on your confidence, but I think that measuring confidence is going to be difficult to do. What we can measure, though, is a specific skill that has to do with your confidence. We can easily measure that over the course of the semester. So if we think about what a smaller skill might be, it might be researching the literature in dysarthria to learn more about it, or it might be presenting a case study, or maybe leading a group discussion with your peers, or do some peer training, or perhaps even do some additional training with one of your clients in the area of dysarthria. What do you think best fits your needs in gaining confidence?
I think my confidence issue has to do with not knowing enough about the population. So a goal to review the literature I think would help me.
Okay, I think that's a good goal for you. Now, as you know, all students are required to read 2 articles over the course of the semester. That's a requirement. Are you thinking that you want to go above and beyond that?
Yeah, 2 articles is not going to be enough for me. I really want to get a good handle on the best practices for assessment and intervention.
Okay, so right now let's look at the GAS form and talk about your baseline, and that would be the -2 on the GAS. Where do you feel you are right now in the skill that we discussed?
Well, I haven't read anything specific. I think we learned a little bit in our classes, but I don't remember anything specific about assessments and intervention for this population.
Okay, so it sounds like your number 2 would be no research conducted in the scholarly literature in the area of dysarthria. So let's write this in.
Okay.
Now that we have your baseline, let's talk about a realistic goal for you this semester. This goal will exceed the 2 articles read by the end of the semester requirement that all students have.
Sure, I think I could read 5 articles by the end of the semester.
Okay, let's write that in. Okay, now let's talk about what would be a more than expected level of attainment for you. You're +1 on the scale. This means you wouldn't expect to do this, but it's possible.
I think a +1 would be that I could read 5 articles by midterm.
Okay, good. I think this is possible, but I think it will be difficult too, considering that the first 4 weeks of the semester are very time-consuming in orientation to the clinic and getting to know your client. But let's go with that.
Okay.
Now that we have our baseline, our expected level, and our more than expected level, let's talk about much more than expected level of attainment. This would be a goal that's very unlikely, but still possible. This would be really above and beyond the expectations. You might want to think about how you could apply your reading in dysarthria to your clients. That would be taking it to the next level.
I suppose I could read the articles by midterm and use them to support a case study that I would present to my group.
Okay,
I think that would be really ambitious.
that sounds good. Let's give that a target date, maybe week 7 of the semester. That will be the week after midterm, and it would be your responsibility to initiate that presentation during our group meeting after clinic that week.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be a good +2.
Okay, so go ahead and write that in. Now, the only thing left to fill out is the -1 level, which is less than expected level of attainment. What are you thinking for this?
Well, my 0 is that I would read the 5 articles by the end of the semester, and I know that I'm required to read at least 2 anyway, so maybe my -1 would be that I read only the required 2 articles by the end of the semester. For me, that would be a pretty weak effort.
Okay, I agree with that. Let's go with that. That would be your -1 on the form.
If we look more carefully at the scale, we can see a scaling error. To ensure there are no missing values on the scale, this can be improved by providing a range. For example, for the -1 level, the student could read 1 to 4 articles. For the 0 level, the student could read 5 articles. Make sure when using ranges that there is an equidistance of difficulty between each level. Each person's level of expectation may vary. For example, one student's realistic goal, scaled at a 0, may be another student's less than expected goal, scaled at a -1. At any point, or at scheduled intervals, you can revisit each goal scale to determine if there has been any change or progress in the level of goal attainment. The rater can record the number representing the current level of goal attainment. Here are some guidelines to remember when scaling goals. Goals should be measurable and objective. There should be no ambiguous language that would make it difficult to determine where the goal behavior falls on the scale. Ensure that you are selecting outcome behaviors that match the goal scales. For example, +2 should be very difficult to attain. If you find that you are attaining all goals at the +2 level, this would indicate that the goals are too easy to attain. It is best to have a supervisor review your goals with you to help you determine what is realistic for your particular learning environment. Once you have completed your learning goal scales with established target dates, you are committed to these goals until the evaluation period, when you will review your progress with your faculty supervisor. Because the goal attainment scale is also a measure of your ability to predict outcomes, do not make any tweaks or changes to your goal scales once the process has begun. This is particularly important when the goal attainment scale is being used as an outcome measure for research.